So I'm rebuilding a 12 kilowatt hybrid battery from Mitsubishi Outlander, the Mark 1 hybrid, Mark 3 Outlander body, but the first version of the hybrid. I just brought that 200,000 miles on it, so the battery's done a fair few cycles. So here we have the battery pack. I've already taken out all the little M10 bolts around the edge, so we're going to pull the top off. I've already done one of these. This is I've stripped the new battery, the replacement battery. This is the original battery, so we should just lift off now. There we go. Top's plastic, so that's easy enough to lift. So here we have your fan electric wires, all these plastic covers. The little blue bus bars are the ones we want to disconnect one module from the next. Those are the ones you got to be careful with. Don't ever touch two of the terminals at once, because you touch the wrong two, you still could be shorting out anything up to 300 volts direct current. So I'll strip a few of these bits and then we'll come back and have a second look. So here we are. Fan is removed, the ducting and the two wires that were running down. I've unplugged all the little BSI, those are the little monitoring wires, and I've removed all the caps off the negative and positive battery terminals. So now I'm going to be disconnecting those 12mm nuts. I've got my rubber gloves, not that I really need them, but better to be safe, because as long as you're only touching one terminal on direct current, there's no real danger, but it's still a lot of voltage, so let's be safe. And then I've got my magnet ready to pick up the nuts. Even though I've got the gloves on, I'm still not touching them with my fingers wherever possible. Alright, so next stage has got all of the bus bars disconnected from one end to the other. There's a couple there, I don't need to disconnect those because they won't be being moved. That's where underneath the fuses connect, if ever you've got a blown fuse. So next job now, we've got the metal retaining cages. So on the first double module you got a single one, 10mm bolt, 10mm bolt. On the next quad packs you've got a cage which has got a bolt at each end, so 2 bolts there, 1 bolt there, 2 bolts there, 1 bolt there. That's the 3 cages across the middle. Then you've got cages in the opposite direction, and they have 2 10mm bolts on every one at opposite ends. So that'll be the next job, and then after that the batteries just lift out. There may be a little kind of metal spring clip there, but with your hand on each end they then lift out, and then I'll be putting the replacement ones back in. So here we are, 3 cages across the middle lifted. Slight update, the ones going from left to right you do have to disconnect, but they are part of the battery. It is possible to disconnect them from the battery, but it's kind of a big enough job, so they just lift with the battery. Once you release this pin on each side, you now will be able to lift the battery. Let's see if I can just put this camera down and lift one in view of the camera at the same time. We'll see. They're still quite heavy. I don't know whether you're able to see what I'm doing there, but we give it a go. Don't tread on the cables. Click on each side and up we go. Battery is out. That simple. Yeah. Enjoy. Now, at this point, you can just end the video. What I'm actually going to do, I'm now going to do it in reverse, so you can see me putting it back together. The batteries that I already have for it, I charged a few months ago, but they're still showing a voltage of 34.4 to 0.6 across the 10 modules, so that's quite good. Overall, that's only about a 20 volt drop over the entire battery. After sitting for 2 months, that's not bad. I'm going to measure what these ones are as well, just out of interest. But that's it for stripping it. Next part, we'll be putting it back together. Right, so we're on the rebuild now. So the modules going in came from a 2018 hybrid Outlander with 70,000 miles on it, as opposed to my 2014 with 200,000, so 130,000 miles less and 4 years newer. So we're putting these in now. At the moment I have them all dropped down into place. The very handy thing is if you put the first one round the wrong way, those bolt holes there don't line up. So I took pictures to make sure I put it all back together the same way, but of course if they're the wrong way round, those bolts won't go in. So that's the next job now, put those bolts in, then the BSI cables will be going back in, and then the 3 cages across the middle. So yeah, that's it so far. They're the next things to do. There we go. All the wires are back in, the little monitor wires. Interesting that the metal on the newer batteries is unpainted and the older one was painted. I assume they decided they were saving a lot of money by not painting them. So I mixed and matched it just for the sake of it. So now all the blue bus bars are to go back on, and then the little plastic covers. That's the next job. So all the bus bars are connected, the longer ones and the shorter ones. All that remains now is to put the little plastic terminal covers on, then the aircon ducting and the fan and the two orange cables from one end to the other, then the lid, and then into the car, and done.